Take off my earrings first, just in case, you know.
You are also a late comer.
When you're wrong, you're wrong. That's what friends do. That's not what friends are for. Can we speak, guys? Stop cutting me off.
It's not funny. No, it's not funny. It's not funny.
For you to start a fight, you must be ready to receive whatever comes after it now. My God. Look at you. What? I wanted to thank my fantastic Fumi Nation. Real Housewives of Lagos reached out to me, and Tiana and I are having a podcast interview. I'm a special guest, and I wanted to thank you guys. You spread my name all over the place. Thank you so very much. By the time this airs, the podcast would have already taken place, because it's taking place today, and I'm going to edit this, I think, tomorrow. But I wanted to say thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Real Housewives of Lagos, for inviting me as a special guest. It will be lovely to meet all of the girls so that we can see how the ghost class is. I beg, I will sew my wig very well. And yeah, what can I tell you? God is good. So continue, my darlings. Continue to chook mouth. Continue to put my mouth in everybody's page. And follow me on IG. Thank you. Thank you. So honored. So honored. Thank you. Hello, my beautiful Fumi Nation. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Real Housewives of Lagos, episode 8, and it was intense. I wore my Daffy Duck because of the clowning in this episode. Now, remember, in the last episode there was ghost bass in Texas that Laura had sent off in the WhatsApp group. Now it's an extension of that. We now see Choma and Caroline in the car, and they are going to the Good Way Foundation that Choma has launched. She's going to sponsor 8 women, giving them 200,000 naira each so that they can start their business. It's wonderful to see Choma in that light. It's wonderful to see all of these women being helped. It was so touching. It was lovely to see Choma. I have to give credit to Choma. It was beautiful to see Choma do this, and I think even for me it has inspired me that, you know what, for me, do more for your people. When you go to Niger, do more, because they do need a lot of help. And so we meet a woman that Choma has been in constant contact with because of her sick child. We learn in the episode that the child passed away, and that brings tears to Choma because she expresses her frustration and the healthcare in Nigeria. If you don't have all the money up front, they won't help, and she can only do so much. She had promised that she would help her, but of course, you know, Choma is all over the place in a good way. She's got businesses, she's got this, that, and so some things will fall off the shelf. And you see Choma cry. She really felt it so very badly. And watching that, I did feel it too, because you want to help everybody. You want to save every child. Every child. I'm still trying to get grips with the 18 fourth graders that were killed in America over some crazy boy, 18, because he's 18 too, you know, that killed these 18 children and 2 teachers. As a mother, it kills you inside, because every child should live. That is why we are here, to protect the young ones. And so it was lovely to see that side of Choma, to see that she gives back with all of her heart, with everything that she has. She makes it a point to give back to those in need. So Choma, that was fabulous. I lived for that. We cut to Laura, and Laura is coming down the stairs in her home. Her husband is there with her beautiful daughter, who is also called Laura. And so they have the discussion about what happened with the WhatsApp message, the text. And you know, it's funny because there is a thing, I don't know whether you guys have heard about it, Chinese whispers. If I tell you something, you repeat what I said to somebody else. By the time you do this 10 times, next person, the 10th person has a completely different story from what I related to the first person. I mentioned this because the way Laura narrated the story to her husband, it was heavily inaccurate in the way that we saw the text messages. She said that she was upset, which she's absolutely justified to be, because she would have loved to be at home with her children, put them to bed, instead of waiting at the dinner for Caroline and Choma for 6 hours. I 100% get that. And again, like like I told you guys, I wouldn't have waited. I would have eaten. I would have been left. I don't have time for that. But the thing here, Laura, is, and I have to say, if this was an issue, you should have addressed it at the dinner. All right, perhaps you felt that, you know what, you didn't want to be too confrontational or spoil Mariam's dinner. Not a problem. So your text, because this is something I do, and a lot of my Fumi Nation are always surprised. I send voice notes. Why? Because there's no emotion in text. It can get lost in the text, the message that you want to translate, and it can be misinterpreted. So what I do a lot of the time, when I know that if I send this text, it's not going to go right, I send a voice note. On top of which, majority of the time, I don't have time because Adrian is by me. He wants my attention constantly. So I'm like, hey girl, how are you? How's everything? You know what? I put all of the information below in the comment section. Look for it, because you guys keep on asking me the same thing when I've already put all of the details for the dress, the lipstick, the makeup, the discount codes. You still ask me. But if I send, it's in the comment section. Look. You're going to be like, oh, wow, Fumi was spicy with me. Nah, don't have time for that. Girl, check the comment section. It's there. Love you. Now, Laura, you could have said, because you had the headline, I'm going to drop this right here. No, you could have said, guys, I love the dinner. Mariam, thank you for inviting me. I had a good time. Choma and Caroline, I was waiting for you guys, and it was a lot on me. I say this because I've just found out, I don't know how I missed it, that Laura is pregnant. Now, when you are pregnant, it's completely different. Completely different. When I was pregnant with Adrian for 8 months, I kept it kosher, quiet. Nobody knew. Some of you knew because I was breathing, you know, a lot. But I kept it kosher. There were times when I felt terribly nauseous. There were times when I needed something salty. There were times when I needed something very spicy. There's no way I would be pregnant first trimester because Laura wasn't showing. And I'll sit down for somebody for 6 hours. No, it's not possible. So I give Laura that little itty bitty pass. I don't know whether the girls knew that she was pregnant because it's a whole different ball game. But you could have said it nicer. Now, so she's narrating everything to her husband. We now get to find out her husband dropped her off at the venue. It was at Echo Hotel. I know Echo Hotel very well because we had lots of events there. And that was where we had the Supermodel for West Africa competition, of which I've won. Yes, my darlings. So the husband dropped her there. She was trying to promote her book, and she wanted the president to hold the book, or Yostami have the book in his possession, because of course he himself is a great influencer, is the president. So for him to have Laura's book, that would be everything. And the book was How to Make Money on Instagram. So she said that it was 2017, which is not very far off, and her husband dropped her off at Echo Hotel. When she got there, her friend was the one that handheld her and brought her to the president's room, of which Caroline was in attendance. Nobody will know whatever happened from there. It's only truly Laura and truly Caroline that will know what jumped off in there. But the husband was so loving, so sweet, and naturally in support of his wife. I will say this for Laura's husband. He's an OG. He's an OG. He's an OG. I'm with my wife. Whatever's between me and my wife is none of our business. I will not publicly shame her out here. I'm not that person. I bring this up because Caroline said that Laura's sister, Linda, destroyed her marriage. And Caroline, she might have said terrible and damaging things about your marriage, but your husband decided to leave that marriage. You can come to Ula and you can say anything about me. And some girls did try. Yes, some girls did try. They went to Ula and said, Fumi's lying, Fumi's not pregnant. But what they don't know is that they don't know me and Ula's marriage. I laughed because the email came to me and I gave it to Ula to read. So what Laura did in going to her husband, 100%, because we are witnesses. We are the ones that were doing IVF together. We're the ones that are looking at the pregnancy test. It's not the pregnancy where you go to your husband and say, I'm pregnant. No, we were trying to get pregnant. So we want to see the positive test. So when I tell you that, yes, I'm pregnant, like so, Ula knows everything. Ula is with me. So that, my darling, I get it. I want to be very fair. You can have some horrible girls that will spin some kind of lies that will leave you stumped. You'll be like, what? Like, say what? I don't know what happened in that room. Only you and Caroline will know. Needless to say, we fade too, and we open up to Iyabo, who says she called an emergency meeting and all the girls show up. And she doesn't skip a beat, and she lets Laura know that Caroline and Choma were late. And that was not unacceptable. But the thing here is that, Laura, for your fashion show, you were also 6 hours late. Explain to us, why is it that you made this big hoo-ha about Choma and Caroline coming late? Most especially when you could have addressed it right there, like I addressed it right there to Choma and to Caroline apologized profusely, and Choma apologized. Laura goes on to say, well, they were dressed for a dinner, we were dressed for a lunch. Caroline chimes in and says, say what? You were wearing one kind of sequin wrapper. What are you talking about? That's a night outfit. While we're on the subject, Mariam was wearing a long dress. We were all dressed beautifully according to how we want to get dressed. What are you talking about? You're so concerned about how I dressed. And I didn't even look twice about the way that you dressed. It was hot. It was steaming. And Yabo went in to say, Laura, you were also rude to Toyin. Toyin was there trying to support you, trying to placate you, and yet you told her you do too much. And Toyin went in and said, Laura, I love you, I tried to support you, but I will tell you when you are wrong. Laura now turns and said, aha, I'm getting it. All of you are here to gang up on me. All of you are here now to come. It's always the Laura show, where Choma now chimes in and says, that is what irritates her more than anything. That Laura behaves like a child, and as far as she is concerned, she's just going to ignore, because you know what, no response is the way that I go. I have to agree with Choma here, because remember when I was telling you about these useless girls that were talking about me, gossiping about me, telling me this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, Fumi, I'm a queen, I'm a boss, I know who I am. And you see, when you know the truth, oh my God, it frees you. I didn't respond. No response sometimes is the biggest response. It infuriates them, because they're like, why is she not responding? Why is she not responding to the email? Because you're an idiot. On top of which, you are so stupid that I have no need to respond, because you've shown who you are, so there's no need to respond. So Choma, good on you. Choma has that control in self, and I love her for that. I mentioned it in the last episode. She just is above it, and that fabulosity is what all of these girls should have, and which Laura lacks. Needless to say, Mariam goes on to speak her piece, talking about how Laura came to the party and Mariam did such a good job. If you see all the detail, I saw this afterwards, because of course I get tagged Fumi Nation. You guys show me so much, and I saw all the drinks that she named after the girls. It was fabulous. Like I said, her house was gorgeous, but it was the attention to detail to Mariam, of whom I did not expect. She really did a good job. So she said, Laura, you and I didn't have beef. I don't understand. You were there, I don't want to be here. You were there this, you were there complaining. It was my dinner party. To which we see in the confessional, Laura says, the girls will not tell you, but I'll tell you, it was boring. Laura, why? Laura, why? Why? But it did occur to me, and I forgot to mention it in the last episode. I believe that Laura holds grudges. Stay with me. Do you remember when Tiana called Yabo because Priscilla was having a photo shoot in her studio, and it came to light that Mariam came to Laura's fashion show and decided that she didn't want to walk on the runway, that she was too tired? I believe that was where Laura got pissed off with Mariam. She didn't tell Mariam, she didn't say anything. But I believe that Laura felt that, you know what, Mariam, you didn't support me. You didn't support me because I had told you I want you to walk the runway. The invitation lunch that she had, of which Choma and Caroline did not show up at. And Mariam did not walk that runway. That was why Laura felt that, you know what, to hell with you too, Mariam. I can see how you are getting aligned with the rest of the girls. So that just kind of fell on deaf ears, but I did not miss it at all. By this time now, Tiana is really cheesed off with Laura, and she she tells Laura off. She tells Laura off. I love when you can express yourself, and that is the problem with Laura. Laura, you don't know how to express yourself, and it is a powerful tool, because when you know how, you will be able to put people in check, just the way Tiana put you in check, because you had told her she was doing too much. Even if she was, Laura, Tiana is the only friend that you have amongst these girls. You did not have to do that. Now you are telling Tiana that she could have called you privately, but you embarrassed her publicly. So guess what? The apology has to be bigger than the crime, and it has to be public. You put yourself in that position, and you found yourself squirming in the confessional again. You said, I cannot fight with my friend. What would these other girls think? I'm fighting with the other girls, then I'm fighting with my friend. And so you now found no choice but to apologize to Tiana. And Tiana was like, what, you want suck breast? Because she's open to the apology, to forgive and to move on. To which now, of course, when Tiana was screaming and shouting and using profanity, Choma was laughing. Tiana checked her, said, bitch, no. What's your business? Be quiet and don't ignite this situation here. All right. So Choma was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, You know what? Be mute, Choma, for a hot minute. Needless to say, we were waiting for the big hurrah. So Laura now explains to the girls what she explained to us and to the husband of how she found herself at Echo Hotel. Caroline interjected and said, that's a goddamn lie. Please, you were pimped. You were brought for him there. Which book? Which book? We didn't see any book there. Did you buy any book? What book? How much money did you make from the book? And Laura again lost it because she doesn't know how to express herself. God will punish you. You will die early. You will this. It was horrible. And she got up and was trying to threaten Caroline. But Caroline is a beast. I will say that because you guys tagged me to the interview that Caroline had with Clubhouse, and there were a lot of details in there, and Caroline felt that she has been taunted by Laura for months, and she had it right up to here. So as far as she's concerned, even though where Tiana felt that, you know what, Laura did send a salty message in the group chat, Caroline wasn't having it. Not at all. And she used a sledgehammer to kill an ant because of all the previous crimes. It went back and forth. Laura got up and threw water. Mariam jumped in and her blouse went open with the boobs out. Lying on the floor. It reminded me of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I am telling you, because do you remember when Portia had this fight with Kenya? Kenya had a horn. Portia grabbed it and beat her with it. And in the middle, it was Cynthia. And Cynthia's dress just burst open, showing the boobs. It was the same scenario. I'm telling you, you got to be careful when you come for these meetings. This is why I wear a t-shirt. Me, when I'm coming for a fight, wearing a t-shirt, I'm taking off all the jewelry. Let's go. She threw the water at Caroline. Caroline got up, threw that water back. There was an exchange where they were pulling them back. Laura refused. Before you knew it, that red wig went flying. Yeah. The wig went flying when I tell you. It flew off. We're back. It was intense, and that was how they went back and forth. The abuse, everything was coming out. You are this, you are that. The exchange was so intense. Laura now said, if you mention my husband's name again, I will deal with you. And Caroline said, your husband. Laura lost it. She tried to fight, but by this time now, it became gutter show. When I tell you, it was a Maury show, and you had the guards coming in to hold Laura back, to hold Caroline back until they ushered Laura out. Caroline said, absolutely goddamn not. I am here to finish you. I will bury you alive. You, your family, your children, your children's children. Laura looked at her like this and she was just aghast. But I was quite surprised because Laura came back and she sat down for a hot minute. Then you could see her kind of kissing the sitting room. And then you saw a guard ghosting her. Like, you move, I move. You move, I move. Then Choma opened her mouth to say something extremely stupid. That, oh, by the way, you know, when I come late, I don't want somebody to come and tell me that I'm late. Choma, shut up. Shut up. You're late, apologize. Well, you know, start without me. They're going to start doing that. That's disrespectful. Again, like I said, I don't think that you are understanding. At the end of the day, this is a show. You are late, and so you think that that is how life is. But I will tell you this, Choma. You are going to be late, and it's going to cost you. It's going to teach you a good lesson further down. Because I am not biased. You are my younger sisters, all of you. How old? 35? I'm 53. Okay, literally almost 20. I'm your egbon. So I will call you and I will tell you as it is. You have done very, very well with everything. To me, Choma, yes. But your lateness is what is taken away from you. Then you now want to justify your lateness by saying that Iyabo has no right to come and tell you when you are late. Of course she has the right to come and tell you that you are late. That is disrespectful. That's not fair. That's not right. Come on now. Needless to say, Iyabo checks her. She said, no, Choma, I like you. I like you a lot. But don't be stupid and don't talk rubbish. They agree, you understand me, because Yabo says it in her confessional. From here on in, girls, we no longer wait for Choma. Choma has also said, don't wait for me, start without me. Not a problem. We're going to do that. From there now, everybody scatter. Let us be going. Laura now comes out and she's leaving the building and Tiana follows her. And Tiana even says, I don't even want them to film this. I want to talk about this. And Laura, I'm going to give this to Laura. I believe, because I have friends like this. Laura didn't understand the assignment. She hasn't understood the assignment in the sense that, Laura, when you are wrong, you are wrong. And you know what? I can even kind of sort of side you. But when you now embarrass me and humiliate me in front of the people I defend you to, then all bets are off. All bets are off because I look real as stupid. And Iyabo said it. Iyabo said, Toyin, I've told you many times before, Laura is not your friend. Laura only wants you because she needs somebody in her corner. Laura, that's not a good feeling. Having said that, Laura starts to cry. She starts to cry because she said, Toyin, it doesn't matter. I am your friend. I don't mind to make enemy of a person that is your enemy because I stand by you. And I completely understand. You see Christina as my friend. If you are Christina's enemy, you're my enemy. No doubt. It's just not good. I don't even want to hear it. And is that right? No, it's not. But it's a matter of loyalty. My loyalty is to Christina. My loyalty is to Christina, her children, her children's children, to her husband, to my brother. I am loyal to Christina all around. I don't want to hear it. If you come to me, I will drive you away. In fact, when you come to me, I will mark it that you are somebody I don't want to see in my life again. And I'll be watching you. That is the kind of friend that I am to Christina. There are some friends that I have that I'll be like, you know what? Let me hear what you have to say. Let me hear what you have to say. Because that person somehow, sometimes can be 50-50. But Christina is 1,000,000% to me. And so I'm 1,000,000% to her. So Laura, Tiana cannot be 1,000,000% to you when you are not 1,000,000% to her. I know how I talk about Christina. I know how I talk to Christina. And I don't talk about Christina to anybody. Hell to the no. My man, my child, I just don't. Too precious. And I don't have that many friends. That's what you have to try to understand, my darling Laura. But to see Laura cry, it came from her heart. To see a pregnant woman cry, it touched me. It hurt me. And Tiana, you call it like it is, and you are emotional in the sense that you wear your emotions on the sleeve. You don't sugarcoat anybody. And I feel that that was a difficult position for you to be in, but you stood your ground. And you followed her all the way to the elevator. And you said, Laura, I'm still your friend, but I will call it like it is. And it is what it is. And that is how episode 8 ended. When I tell you I'm exhausted. When I tell you, look at I'm sweating. I'm exhausted. Anyway, we get a clip of episode 9. Guess what? Tiana is taking the girls to Dubai. You been to Dubai? I've been to Dubai. Dubai. Guys, put down your comments, share this episode, let me know how you feel about this bass. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, because I'm getting over 12 million viewers a month. Yes, because many of you are not subscribing. Make una subscribe now. Make una chook mouth for this conversation. Okay? I love una. God bless. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you episode what? 9. Na helele. Hey, na helele.